Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tic Tac Taiko. One of the most common questions I've gotten, especially from newer players, is how much should the bachi move in my hand while I play? Today I'm going to talk about micro adjustments. Let's go. Every time you play a taiko, you're striking with the bachi and it's causing vibration. I mean, it happens in any drum with any stick. You can see the vibration on the larger heads even easier. You know how it blurs as you strike it? That's your vibration. You can feel the vibration in your fingers, the hands, all the way up through the forearm and maybe even deeper into the body, depending on how loud and how hard you're playing. But it's also happening in the bachi. And the most obvious example of this is the recoil. It wants to bounce back. The harder you hit it, the tighter the head, the more the rebound. But it's also making what I'm calling micro adjustments. Micro adjustments can't be seen, they can't be felt, but they happen every single time you strike above a certain level. I mean, not much happening here, but if you're playing at a normal volume, or even louder, your bachi is vibrating, it's wiggling in your hand, and it's moving imperceivably. I just finished saying that micro adjustments are imperceivable. You can't see them, you can't hear them, you can't feel them, but you can make them seen at least. I got some painter's tape, a nice strip of it here, that's 12 o'clock, and 2 dots on the back at 6 o'clock. I've got the strip ending just about where my index finger ends. It's not perfect, it doesn't have to be. It's a good reference point. Both bachi have them, and the nice thing about painter's tape is that it's bright, it's easy to see, and it comes off easily. That's a big benefit. First drill I'm going to have you do. The easiest drill I can think of having you do. Number 1, play something. Number 2, stop. Number 3, look at your bachi. Pretty darn simple. While you're playing, resist the urge to look at your bachi and see what happens. It's fine if you're kind of staring ahead and you're using peripheral vision, but resist the urge to look, which might affect how the drill works. After at least a minute, stop, see what happened to the rotation, see what happened to the distance, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So let's see what happens. I'm stopping here, not because I'm not having fun, but the bachi are getting to a point where it's really difficult to play. Let's see, I haven't looked down. We'll see together what my bachi have done. Okay, right hand, the blue tape is, let's see, this is my 12 o'clock. Blue tape has moved about 1/8 of a rotation outwards, and it's about 1 inch higher than it started. Good to know. Left hand is about the same distance away. I want to say about 1 inch, but the 12 o'clock is now down here. So I want to say it's moved 3/8 of a turn to my outside. That's a pretty significant amount of movement. So that proves that at least the bachi like to move. This brings me to a really important point. I hope you've done these drills or will be doing these drills. If you find that your bachi do not move, one of 2 things is happening. Either A, you're playing really, really lightly and you're not giving your bachi a chance to hit and vibrate, which is possible. More likely, you're gripping your bachi too tight. And I've talked about the perils of choking your bachi to death many, many times. There's a type of control that newer players like to have on their bachi, but it's control at a cost. If I grip so tight that my bachi will not move, yes, I have control, but I can't play as fast, I can't play for as long, and I can't play as loudly as I could if I loosen my grip. It feels like you're taking a risk, yes, But with practice, you will then be able to manipulate your bachi to stay where you want it, which is the focus of the next set of drills. So if you find that, my bachi don't move at all, the micro adjustments don't exist, your bachi are dying, let them breathe. Practice with a looser grip. It might be scary if you really aren't used to it, but I guarantee you that's the path you want to be on. Stage 2 is going to compare how the hands move in relation to each other. I'm going to start reset again. I can play whatever I want as long as the bachi move at the same time, played at the same time. So it's like there's a mirror straight down the middle and I have to match that. The same amount of motion, the same amount of velocity. And here we go. I'm going to stop there because my bachi are getting to a weird place again. And, okay. They both moved about the same amount forward. I want to say way more, about 2 inches forward, maybe 1.5 inches. I can't quite be sure, but further than the last time. Probably because I was hitting way harder. My left bachi, that's got about 1/8 of a turn outside. And my right bachi is about 3/8 of a turn to the outside, which, if I recall, was the opposite of what my hands did last time. So this shows me 2 things. It shows me that my bachi move, and they don't move evenly compared to the other. Does it really matter that my right hand and left hand aren't doing the same thing? It makes sense. My right hand is probably hitting harder, maybe more relaxed, etc., etc. It's fine. It's just the awareness to say my bachi are moving, and that's okay. There's really only 4 different ways your bachi can move in a micro adjustment. Either it's going to move forward, backwards, or it's going to rotate inwards or outwards. And to be honest, it's rarely going to go backwards unless you're playing with your hand moving backwards, which some brand new Taiko players I see do, sometimes a kind of a swimming motion. For the most part, if the bachi and elbow are going forward, then the force and the micro adjustment continues that forward motion. And a lot of wiggle room. So, practicing, let's start with the outside rotation first. It's really simple to practice. You're going to hit, you're going to pinch, and you're going to turn. Hit, pinch, turn. Now, I'm not going to break down how do you rotate, because really, any of you can do this. I'm sure you've done this, you're maybe doing this right now. Same with the inside rotation. But breaking it down, doing it slow, and adding a hit in between changes things up. Inward, outward. When you start to speed up, or I should say, make the distance between the two less and less, you'll find that your technique starts to suffer. So bring the technique back, make the technique more important. And you'll find that you're only able to turn small amounts, micro adjustments, which is all you need. In terms of going forward and backwards, again, you don't need me to teach you, scoot the bachi towards you, push the bachi away. It's easy to do, but then you add the hit in between. It becomes a lot more difficult and you're only able to do it a little bit. This comes with practice. But the whole point here is to not let those involuntary micro adjustments decide where your bachi are. If you're constantly, I don't want to say fighting, if you're constantly working with them, then you will have the control and you will determine where your bachi is at any given time. Before I leave, I want to end with 3 things. The first is to tell you that micro adjustments mostly happen on impact, but not only. If you're doing some sort of whipping motion or a quick turn or arm circles that use a lot of centrifugal force, you may very well be making micro adjustments there. Not a huge deal, but just good to know. Second, you might be asking yourself, why do I care if the bachi is rotating in my hands? If it's not affecting how I'm playing or my grip, Who cares? You may find that you're playing with a bachi that has a blemish or a mark, especially if it's a community bachi that everybody's sharing. Or you might find that the bachi is sanded in a way that it feels better or sounds better when it's here, but not so good here. Little things like that may not come into a lot of people's experience, but it's really nice to have that skill when it's there. Just to know, okay, yeah, I can turn it. Oh, that's ugly. I don't want the audience to see it. Without having to spend a lot of time going, oh crap, that looks horrible. Oh crap, that sounds bad. Which leads me into my third point. You are learning awareness just by knowing that the bachi can and should move in your hand. You're also learning dexterity by manipulating it with your fingers in your hand. But something even more valuable, I think, is the confidence that comes with knowing that whatever your bachi is going to do, you got it. You can turn it, you can bring it down, you can bring it up. If it's in a weird position, you can switch it while you're playing so that nobody but you knows you're doing it. That is a huge boost of confidence. And that's something people ask all the time, not just of me. How do I get more confident? How do I feel more confident on stage? How do I learn confidence? You can say, well, you can fake it, or it just takes time. But things like this, where your competency increases, makes your confidence increase as well. And now we're at the end of the video where I can say, if you like this video, let me know with a thumbs up, especially if you learned something. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to subscribe. And until next time, keep on practicing and be well.